happen when resources become more and more scarce will result in a massive global depopulation. Now, I can understand if maybe the assertion is that the elite wish to hammer in that final nail in the coffin, as it were, or maybe that they realize that the natural depopulation that will occur due to dwindling resources and even faster dwindling access to resources maybe isn't coming fast enough, so that they want to make sure that, I don't know, the process is sped up. But I don't know, that just doesn't completely sound right, does it? I mean, do you think that the Bilderbergers, as they're called, are really implementing contingency plans for a plan that is already working so beautifully and steadily enough for the majority of society to accept it? Tell you what, since I tend to have a penchant for using the sinking of the Titanic as an example, I'll give you an analogy. If the officers aboard, who are armed with pistols, were to go around secretly shooting people, either to kill or maim them, in order to whittle the total number of people on board who can board the lifeboats, how would that change anything for the elite that are already granted a seat in those lifeboats to begin with? Now, having said that, let's assume that the women and children first rule is augmented also by rich people. In addition to the condition that the vast majority of the peasants aboard the ship accepted that they would have to wait their turn and not rock the boat, as it were. Sorry, I'm really sorry for that very applicable pun. But yeah, what would be the point in this systematic depopulation of the ship when it's already sinking? And if your goal is to have these people dead, all you need to do is get the hell off, while reinforcing the conditioning that they should stay on board. You don't need to go around killing and maiming the passengers, because the very act of the ship sinking is going to do that act of genocide for you. But that's my take on the subject. But as I said, I may be completely wrong, because I admit I haven't really done that much research on it. But I will get round to watching What on Earth Are They Spraying, because I consider myself open to all information, as should all of you, in my view. But tell you what, there we have it, ladies and germs. That's all the questions I've received to this date. Some of them have been sent directly for the purposes of answering on this podcast show, whereas some of them have been submitted to me in conversation or in discussion forums. I dare say I could go back through all the online conversations I've had and maybe mine a few more, but chances are I'll only get regurgitations of the same questions I've already answered on my Q&A shows. I mean, I've tended to extract the good ones and the okay ones from my past conversations. Suffice it to say, I have the best part of 7 hours of Q&A already, so what's the odds that there are any questions to be asked that I haven't already been asked? But that's up to you guys. Are you happy with the answers I've provided so far? Or do you seek further clarification, or maybe feel brave enough to submit your queries? Either way, I'm happy with either outcome. If you have any questions for me, by all means, send them my way. Send me a YouTube message or comment on my channel or one of my videos. Find me on Facebook. I'm open to friendly discussions and the exchange of ideas and information. In fact, I actively seek them out now. Do you guys get annoyed with those pesky charity workers or market research people in the high street? You know, those internally shy but outwardly confident individuals who work in packs of 3 or more and spread themselves out along the high street and turn a simple stroll from one end to the other into a dangerously guilt-threatening gauntlet. You know, those ones who you avoid making eye contact with on the pain of death, because if you do, you know that they got their hooks sunk deep into your flesh, so it gives them the excuse to slink up to you with their confidence and their clipboard. You know, the ones who make the simple one-syllable greeting of hi into a 3-tone syllable death rattle of social conscience. You know, hi. You know, I can tell you may have a pretty good recall of the people I mean. Yeah, those people. You know what? I love them. I love every single one of them. You know why? Fresh meat. These are people who actually want to engage you in an exchange about something socially conscious. Granted, it is to gain support for their cause, but come on, guys. Seriously, we should be talking to these people. You know what I do? I actually stop listening to my MP3 player, or at least take one earbud out, and I actively seek their eye contact as I walk. I walk more or less towards them. I actually hope that they will see me as a viable target. You know, most people must be thinking as they see the charity workers, oh, don't look at me, leave me alone, pick someone else to bother. Not me. The whole time I'm thinking, pick me, pick me, pick me. Yeah, if I see one ahead of me talking to someone, I actually hope that they'll be done talking to them and be free to grab my attention by the time I reach them. And you know what else? That, you know, this will probably sound a bit weird, but I'm actually disappointed if they overlook me. Seriously, I am. I mean, sometimes I think about how much time I have and consider maybe walking back up the high street again for a second attempt. This is how willing I am to talk to people about a resource-based economic model. You know, it's almost like I'm a RBEM missionary, you know. Well, except without all the coercion and dogma. But tell you what, guys, if what I've just said has resonated with you at all, then I would advise that you consider the charity workers and market research people as prime targets for giving out this information. Yeah, as much of the time as possible, I ensure that I have a few TZM leaflets in my pocket. You know, because I always know that that the one day I bump into someone I know or start talking to someone where the prime opportunity arises to ask them if I can give them a leaflet, that's going to be the day when I don't have one on me. So I try to be armed, as it were, at all times. And if you guys are prepared to talk to people like this, then be aware, first off, that you are laying yourself bare to receive their sales pitch. Okay? First off, do them and yourself a favor and actually really listen to them. It will give you information on how to build a bridge with them, and they will feel like they're not wasting their time. And ask them questions as well. I mean, tell you what, one of the main ones I begin with is a curious question. Does donating money towards a cause solve the problem at its root cause? To which they'll probably reply with yes, so ask them how so. From here, you know, they'll probably discuss what solutions they as an organization provide, so you know, you can go through that, yada yada yada. But then you ask, in your view, what actually is the root cause of the problem your organization is working to solve? From there you can go layer through layer through layer with them until they reach the jackpot. And it's then that you can maybe ask them, okay, how do you propose that we can solve that problem within a monetary system which in fact requires problems to keep it going? Now, you guys can ask them what you want to, right? That's, you know, but one thing I'd recommend, be civil and respectful at all times. Don't insult these people. They're just doing a job. I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, but they're just doing a job. But, you know, that's just a formula that I've found that works for me, okay? Find what works for you. So yeah, back to the issue of questions. Of course, I'm happy to answer questions about this for years and years to come. However, there is another side to this. As long as you're all asking questions, are you really learning? I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong at all with having a perpetually questioning mind. I mean, I myself possess one. However, when you're referring the receipt of information from an individual, you are not necessarily looking for the information yourself. We all need to be educating ourselves more than we are allowing ourselves to be educated by any other individual. The reason being is because when you're asking questions of someone else, there's a temptation to become dependent upon them for your answers. Not only that, but when you receive information from someone, you're receiving second-hand information. Who's to say you're not receiving completely objective data? I could be wrong about things or biased from time to time. That's why I ask people not to believe a single word I say, and instead use what I'm saying as inspiration to do their own research so they can arrive at their own decisions for themselves. But that's, I'd say another angle is, about questions. Would you rather keep me occupied answering your queries, or would you rather deal with me rambling on and on aimlessly as I'm doing now? I mean, would you like a full hour of this? Just kidding. Of course, every time I will be bringing you the best topics of discussion that I can, even if it's just me talking. Tell you what, let me ask you a question. What is it that you do? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean what you do for a living. I meant what do you do for humanity? It's an interesting question. You know why? Because it's challenging. I like being challenged. I don't know about you guys, but it keeps me on my toes. Would you rather take the easy option of not being stimulated and having your every action and word followed along with blindly? Or would you prefer to incorporate the act of playfully throwing a curveball at someone at random? Tell you what, here's something you can do. Right in the middle of a conversation, when someone makes an assertion, first, make sure that it's appropriate to do this or not. I don't want to feel responsible for anyone, getting in trouble. But maybe amiably ask a question that stunts them a little and encourages them to either explain, justify, or back up an assertion that they've made. This is especially fun when you do this to an assertion which you know is complete BS. But the trick here is to do your utmost to not appear insolent or insulting. Okay, maybe even make it sound like a curious inquiry or confirmation. The only thing with this kind of exercise, though, is that some people don't like it. That's why you've got to pick your targets carefully. But don't necessarily go to the other extreme and grab the low-hanging fruit. See if you can make these friendly challenges to those who in that particular situation can be, amiably challenged by it. But yeah, with that in mind, guys, I would like you to challenge me. This is an earnest and serious call to everyone listening to send me any of your concerns about a resource-based economic model. Come on, guys. I want you to hit me with your best shot. Seriously. If you feel so fervently that a resource-based economic model couldn't work or that it's doomed somehow, then please, by all means, formulate your best possible argument against it and send it my way. Like I said earlier, you can contact me via YouTube or Facebook, even my TalkShoe page. I would like to know that our critics truly have the courage of their convictions. Okay? So, please, do some research, learn the necessary material, and provide a demonstrable case for how the resource-based economy maybe won't work. I challenge you to challenge me. Anyway, that's all the time we have for this podcast, I'm afraid. Next time we're going to be delving into the second part of my interview with James Phillips of tzmeducation.org about being a TZM activist. So, with that said, I will say goodbye now. So, take care, guys and girls, and I hope you all have wonderful lives.